Good morning. Welcome back to Atheism, the Good Life with David Oliverio, your host. That is I. Why I am not a Christian. This is part one. Part two is coming up shortly. Not long ago, when feeding the homeless under the bridge in downtown Austin, I have very often, in fact, Christians come to me because they see my atheist t-shirt from the Christian groups down there feeding the homeless, just like we atheists do. She approached me, this was just a few weeks ago, and asked me, "Sir, two questions. Why are you not a Christian, number one? And number two, why are you an atheist?" Why I am not a Christian. Number one, there is no evidence. Stay tuned because part two is even better. Much better, and even more important than number one. Number one, there is no evidence. Let me borrow a quote from W.K. Clifford. "It's wrong always and for everyone to believe anything upon insufficient evidence." We look for evidence, we as atheists. Number one, there is no evidence. A smart guy by the name of David Hume, one of my favorite philosophers of all time, said, "A wise person proportions or adjusts their beliefs to faith? No. To believe something that feels good? Oh, no. They adjust and proportion their beliefs to the evidence." This is how reality works. In fact, evidence must precede the acceptance of an idea. It makes no sense to go out there by faith, like the Bible says and the other religions, grab an idea that sounds wonderful. It fills a need. It takes care of your emotional needs. It takes care of the fear factor and the immortality factor. You grab that, then you go out and try to find evidence to support that idea. This is not how reality works. Evidence comes first. That's the first thing. And then you adjust and proportion your belief to facts and evidence. Not long ago, I had a woman tell me of a story. And this is a true story. One of my preacher stories here. She told me that one of her friends went on a missionary trip. Of course, she's a Christian, to one of the countries in Africa. I think it was in West Africa, around Nigeria. They went out into the tropical jungles. Her friend came back, and her friend told her she had a large insect bite on her arm. Her friend told her the story that as she began to scratch this insect bite on her arm that was caused by an insect in the tropical jungle of West Africa, after she opened up the bite from scratching too much, thousands, not just a few, not just one, thousands of baby insects, whether it was a spider, spiders are not insects, but spiders or insects came out of that wound that she opened up, crawled throughout her body, all over her body, thousands of them. Now, the first thing I thought in my mind of critical thinking and scrutiny and skepticism was BS alert. This doesn't sound rational, doesn't make any logical sense. My friend looked at me and said, "You don't believe me?" I said, "Actually, no, I can't believe that without evidence. It doesn't sound right." Here's what she told me. My friend told me, "Why would my friend who told me this story lie to me? She wouldn't lie to me. I believe and accept this story by faith. She's my friend. She's not going to lie to me." We look for evidence. So number one, I am not a Christian simply because there is no evidence for a God, for any creator, or anything supernatural. A question I like to ask believers. And if you're a believer, here's a good question for you. Would you believe me? Would you accept this claim? Would you become a follower of my belief system? Davidism. There's a new religion. Davidism. Would you believe my claim if I told you I have a pet dragon in my apartment? In that back room in Christy and I's apartment, in our bedroom, there's a pet dragon. Now, if I told some people that, they would just shrug. They go, well, I guess if you say there is, I believe it. No. A critical thinking mind, the way reality works is, no, I don't believe this claim. I want to see evidence. Now, of course, most people say, I don't believe that. And what you should be asking is, you know what? I'd believe that if you could show me that. Now, if someone asked me, David, can I come over and see your pet dragon? By the way, it's a fire-breathing dragon in the back bedroom of your apartment. I would say, oh, you can't come over and see him. He is invisible. You can't see him. A skeptical person, instead of jumping into this idea and this belief by faith and taking it and becoming a follower of David and his pet dragon, a smart person, a wise person who proportions their beliefs to the evidence would ask, okay, I can't see him because he's invisible, you say. I say, that's right. Well, how about if I put down some baking flour on the floor in your bedroom, and then we can see the footprints of the dragon? I'll believe it if you give me some evidence. Well, I would say, you can't see the footprints because my pet fire-breathing dragon that exists hovers in the air, and he's invisible, and he breathes fire. I accept that. There's no way you can refute that because it's all in my head. Number one, why am I not a Christian? Why am I an atheist? I'm not a Christian, number one, because there is no evidence. And yes, I would be a believer in the supernatural if there were evidence, but that doesn't mean I would follow Christianity. You need to come back and listen to part 2 in a few days, why I'm not a Christian. Part 2, it's even more powerful than this, and it's even more challenging for believers to accept part 2 of this episode. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.